another YouTube video. I'm on one of my alts in Summoner's War. I have a lot of different alternate accounts. And today, I'm going to be resetting one of mine. As you can see, it's level 13. It really does not have a lot on it that I'm going to be losing. Airguard, this is a Light Dark Nat 5 that was given out for free with some gear on it. I believe that gear that he had on, yeah, this was the gear that came with him. So that's really the biggest thing I'm losing is just this Airguard. Everything else is kind of a really bad account. There's not much progress made, so I decided I'm going to reset it, and we're going to go and do a playthrough of the game just from scratch. And this should hopefully be a nice beginner's video for everyone. I've been playing this game for about 5-6 years now, so I have probably more than 30 alternate accounts. But that's just so that I can test out units, receive in-game loot from events and stuff, and get some summons and really be able to get a lot more than I could on just one account. So I'm going to click reset game. How am I supposed to enter it? Okay, 531296. 6. Reset. Yes. This is the beginning intro. Very interesting. As you can see, I'm streaming this with Air Server right now, and so the main video of it has the video you're seeing in words. I see the words on my phone, but the video on my screen. The video won't show up on my phone, and the words won't show up on my screen. Very interesting. I'm just gonna skip the video. If you want to see it, just go ahead and get the game, start up, watch the video. So let's see, entering a name. Let's go with the name I was using for Minecraft after my main game got stolen from me. Not stolen, that's the wrong word. I lost the email, but and here we are. If Air Server would decide to load. Hello, Air Server. I'm gonna make sure I'm still connected to my computer. Oh, okay. There we are. Okay. I'm just gonna click through a little bit of this. We'll see how fast we can get through this main introduction. Do the first summon. Now all this stuff is guaranteed. There's no rates, there's no any of that. You're guaranteed to get the Hellhound, you're guaranteed to get the Wind Vagabond, all this stuff. Or the, sorry, Water Fairy. You are guaranteed to get a Wind Vagabond, but you know, much later on. So a little tip here, you can change your speed of attacking so they attack a lot faster, which really helps. Yep, it tells you it. It didn't used to tell you that. So people would be going through the game at this like 1x speed, and you couldn't be able to speed it up until a little later on down the line. Wind Vagabond, guaranteed summon. Engrave a rune. Runes are very important in this game. They're how everything is decided. Like stats, certain runes have different abilities. They don't just improve stats. For instance, vampire runes give you lifesteal, violent runes gives you a random chance for another turn. So runes are very important. Some of the best sets are Swift, high speed. Speed is very, very important. Violent, people hate it. You always want it because people hate it. Violent literally just makes it so with a chance to get an additional turn, that's going to reset your cooldowns lower than they were. It's going to make it so that you can get your skills faster and that you can use 2 of your skills at once. Search the Garen Forest. Okay. So now we can do a little bit of our own stuff here. So we can go ahead, get a little bit of that stuff. Get a little bit of that stuff. Oh. Some of that. The Light Elven Ranger is eh. Let's go ahead. We'll do 5 summons. They're not good. They're unknown scrolls, but they could give me something that I like to use. You never know. So far, it's literally been trash. Okay, that's fine. 1 Light Dark piece. You need 50 to get a full Light Dark summon. The soonest we're going to get a Light Dark summon is right here. Famin Volcano. So we have a lot of work to do before we get there. But, you know. Oh yeah, I guess this account kept the friends I had on it from the reset. That's very interesting. So there's a new thing in the game called Secondary Awakening. The Water Fairy didn't used to be that great before. She used to just be the starting monster. But now, thanks to Secondary Awakening, she's actually really good and really useful. However, awakening her in the first place is already difficult, so if you're just starting out the game, good luck even awakening her at all. Don't know if we'll get to that today. I'm probably going to be streaming until about 11:30, give or take. And then I will be uploading this video to YouTube. And we're going to just turn this into a series. I will try to be doing this a little bit more daily now that I know how Air Server works a little bit better, type of thing. Hey, more bad runes. Okay, so she's going to tell you to go here and place that second energy rune on. Okay. Now that gives me some more achievements to collect from. I don't think there's anything right now that can give me some free stuff. Oh, well, there might be actually. Hold on, there's always a good chance you can get free stuff. There's just, here we are. Maybe not. I was wrong. Here. This was the one I was looking for. So when they did the update, they released something called the Shift. So all I have to do is click that, open it in game, go backwards, backwards again, back. There we are. Okay. So this should give me a lot of summons. I don't think I'll have the resources to do the summons, but it'll at least give me a bunch of summons. When we get the resources to do the summons, we'll go ahead. For anyone who's playing on Android, usually the game's actually better on Android. They have a little place where you actually type it to put in a code. However, this is one time where they actually put the codes as a link, and because they did it as a link, it makes it easier for Apple users. Lots of energy and a Devilmon, which is very important. So we'll go ahead and do 1 Mystical Scroll summon, because I have enough to do it. Okay, it's just going to be a 3-star. The Wind Mystic Witch, okay. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. we'll go ahead and we'll use her. She's almost definitely better than the Wind Vagabond, so there is that. We'll go ahead and use her. So if you're starting the game now, the game just had a massive update, so, you know, it's actually very good news for anyone who's planning on playing, because the massive update gave you a bunch of rewards. I think there were pre-registration rewards. I don't think I've pre-registered all my accounts. Hey, defense break on the main target. Helpful. Okay. So now we can just continue on with a similar team until we get enough mana to summon the rest of the scrolls. Okay. Very soon we're going to unlock this button right here, which is the auto battle button, which is available when we hit level 3. It makes everything in the game so much easier. You just click it and the battle plays itself. This is why it's one of my favorite games, because it's not necessarily idle, it still requires a lot of attention. They haven't added in like an auto battle feature where it restarts the battle altogether when one run finishes, which people have been asking for years now. However, if you're in class, let's say, sometimes your battles can take a couple minutes. So it's always easy to just put your phone down on your desk in an undisclosed location and just be playing this off to the side. You're still paying attention and everything. However, you're now getting stuff in the game and progressing and stuff like that. And also for anyone like me, I have ADHD, so it's very hard to focus. This gives me something else, so that because my attention is quote-unquote divided, it actually makes me focus better, which is kind of funny. So a couple of the new dungeons they introduced, early game players might have a little bit more of a benefit, as certain monsters that you wouldn't think of building before, you would now start building. So because of that, certain not endgame, but like mid-game players like me, on my main account, I don't struggle, I'm not going to say, to 6-star units, but it's not easy. I choose I choose certain units to 6-star. I don't just 6-star whoever I'm thinking about at the moment. I very much choose what I need. And so for me, being like, oh, I need to 6-star this unit and this unit and this unit and this unit all for one dungeon sucks, at least in my perspective. However, other newer players can be like, oh, I now know I should 6-star this unit. For instance, Necropolis, the new dungeon. A bunch of monsters came out after I and my friends 6-starred some units to beat it. And these new monsters make the game so much easier. So, for instance, you wouldn't 6-star what me and him did for that dungeon. You would instead use the new monsters, and then you would have another 6-star to use on, for example, the Dark Mystic Witch, as she's been known to be very good right now in one of the newer dungeons. Okay, so this will be the boss of this area. Don't think we're going to have an issue here, but you never know. I have a couple different accounts that I will be making videos on. I have wind only account, I have water only account, I have fire only account, I have a Nat 4 only account, which is actually very interesting, and a Nat 3 only account. So I'll be making a couple videos with those accounts. I think my Nat 3 only account is going to be doing some Secondary Awakenings very, very soon. So that should be very interesting. And then once they have that, I might have that account go into RTA just for shits and giggles. No other reason besides that. We'll just click through this. The story is really not that great. Like, it's pretty bad. But, so in terms of all the starting units you get, the Wind Vagabond isn't bad, but I would not recommend actually liking him that much, or falling in love with him, I should say, because he really isn't as great as you would want. So then you have, oh wait, I know another way I can get mana. A gift has arrived. Ah, thank you. Go to the inbox. So this just gave me the 3-star Elven Ranger. I believe I already collected that on this account. Got it. Okay. Very interesting. So certain things like this stuff, events, once I collected from it on this account previously, I can't collect from it again. But that right there is a great way to get certain stuff like mana, some summons. It's not a lot, but it's a good amount. Okay, so now we can use 4 units. So we're going to go ahead and use the new Light Elven Ranger I got. The Fire Hellhound is a good unit as well, for a multitude of things. When you awaken it, it gets a new skill that gives everybody attack buff and crit rate buff. So early on, that's pretty good. You're very unlikely to get a unit that can do stuff like this early on. One unit, and I'll be showing you this in a second, is called Fran. Fran is extremely, extremely important. And you do need to get Fran as soon as possible, basically. She is the Light Fairy Queen. She used to only be given out to people who started playing the game all the way at the beginning, but then they gave her a buff. She's now one of the most heavily used units of all time, and I wish I was joking when I was saying that, but I'm not. Even one of the dungeons, her first skill reduces attack bar. One of the dungeon bosses, when he gets reduced attack bar, he just instantly gets a turn, and people still use Fran in that dungeon. Because she's so good, you really can't afford to not use her. Fran you can only get from getting certain event currencies, and right now that's easier said than done, because, well, there are a couple of events. Yes, I'm ready to summon, but I can't summon that. Okay, game. So there's the default 4-star summoning event. There should be a couple days still left on it. Yeah, only 5. You get points, and then you can spend points to do a summon. But I believe the summons cost about 500 points. However, once I get 350 points, I'm going to be getting some mana stones, or I'll save up to 400 and get that, because when you go here, you go to Ancient Coin Shop. You need a total of 100 ancient coins to get Fran. But once you do, the game's a piece of cake. Well, I'm not going to say that, but the game becomes a lot easier. Same thing with this Water Magic Knight. Water Magic Knight's also very good. In fact, there's a certain challenge where you have to solo the hardest stage of an area, and you can only use one monster. And the Water Magic Knight is known for basically being made for that. And the rewards are really good. So getting and keeping that Water Magic Knight, 5-starring it, all very much worth it. And even after they gave it a buff, 6-starring it is probably worth it. So for anyone who's coming back to the game, you know, that might also be a good thing for you. Level 5. I believe you get rewards for being level 5. Let me check. Yeah, you do. 30 crystals. We'll go ahead and save crystals, because we don't really need to spend them on anything. At least not yet. You know what? I'm just going to go through and sell all of these rooms. Okay. There we are. Now we do have enough mana for another summon. No lightning. Okay, what will we get this time? Okay. Wind Magical Archer. In my opinion, I really like the Wind Magical Archer. And actually, we're going to go ahead and get some mana stones on this account. Actually, they don't show up there. Just because it'll help us to do the last couple of summons, get all the units we need, and then continue to progress. So Fire Scroll. Ooh. Fire Grim Reaper is actually really good when you start off the game. So that's really nice. No lightning from any of these scrolls. I'm not surprised. It's like a 1 in 12 chance. Wind Bounty Hunter is not bad. The Bounty Hunters are kind of fun, but not the greatest monsters in the game. Let's put it that way. Go ahead and collect that. Okay, so now we're going to be putting together a team of units that I personally like a lot. So I do like the Wind Magical Archer. She does some really nice damage. It's single target damage, which is actually really helpful. But then on the opposite hand, we're going to go with this dude. He does a lot of AoE damage. Okay. Yeah, Living Hell. Heal block, damage over time effect. It's really good. He also has a second AoE, which will help out. Since everyone here is really low level, you're not really going to see a lot of stuff from any of them. It's not going to be that impressive, but once we add a little bit more levels, once we get the Water Magic Knight, it'll definitely be better. Yeah. Good couple of levels. And we do have that Devilmon that we got from the event. However, with the Devilmon, it's really best to save those for later on. Don't know how long I'm going to be saving this one. It depends on summons and what we get in the game and stuff like that. Devilmons will power up the skill of a monster, and the only way you can power up the skill of a monster in this game is by feeding, like for instance, we have the Fire Grim Reaper. He just attacked. What the Fire Grim Reaper did, to skill up a Fire Grim Reaper, you have to power him up using a Grim Reaper, which for Nat 3s, that's very easy. You can get a lot of Grim Reapers, and you can get them pretty easily. However, for something like a Nat 5, Nat 5s are very rare. That's, I think, a 1 in 200 chance to get a Nat 5 from a Mystical Scroll. But Nat 5s, because they're so rare, you really can't afford to power one up with itself or one of its kind to be able to get that skill up. So because of that, you use Devilmons. That's why Devilmons are very, very sought after in this game. And that's why that Devilmon is so good, but I also have to save it. Because if I were to just use it already on a Nat 3, it would basically be a waste. Yeah, so we got like 45 minutes left about. We'll see how far we can get. We're already at this boss, which is actually really good. This means we're really close to getting Lapis. Lapis is the Water Magic Knight. Once we get the Water Magic Knight, she'll probably be added onto this team. If I take out anyone, it might be the Water Fairy, just because early on you really don't need a healer unless you're in a dungeon. I also might take out the Hellhound, the Fire Hellhound, It depends on the next area. Currently, we have double fire units. We might want to have double water units, for instance, in the next area. You never know. So it's just, in general, a good thing to look at the area you're going into, obviously, before you just dive in. That's expected that at least our wind unit dies to the fire boss. So I might have accidentally skipped through it very quickly. But in this game, there's the element triangle. Fire beats wind, wind beats water, water beats fire. It's the water, fire, grass triangle, except instead of wind, it's grass. So then you have light and dark. Light and dark are only super effective on each other, and they're not weak to anything. So for instance, if you're weak, like the wind unit I just had was weak to fire, what that meant is that it does less damage, and it has a higher chance to glancing hit, which is extremely less damage. When you glancing hit, you also will not gain, like, none of the effects that happen from your skill, harmful effects that is, will activate on a glancing hit. So light and dark, since they're not weak to anything, they're really good for stuff like that. They can't glance and hit, basically. At least they can't unless they have a glancing hit debuff on them or something like that. Okay, so this stage is going to give us some good runes, which is great and all. I don't think we're going to have another chance to do any summons anytime soon, but we very well, we could. We'll see what happens. Thanks to the codes that I just had, we basically got a lot of summons very early on, which is great. I thought I already collected the codes on this account, but I guess I didn't. So the codes can only be used one time per account. You can have one account and, let's say, multiple different save files on the account. So for instance, and the save files are based on of servers. So I think the most you can have is 6. So this is one server on a certain account, compared to my main account. So this is my main account's name is like CT Skillshot. This account is CT Skillshot 5 because it's my 5th one. Oh boy, Reyna. Reyna is really helpful. She is one of the things that gives you lots of stuff very early on in the game. So, you can see right here, these are challenges. And when you complete the challenges, you can get good rewards, stuff like that. We just unlocked one of the challenges. So we want to raise an attack type monster to level 15. This only really blossoms right here. So we want to just kind of push this until we get right here. The blade runes are going to be easy. The fatal runes are not. Powering them up is going to be easy. Then we get here, and then the skill up is also very easy. And you get the fatal runes from that. So there is a bunch of stuff you can get from here. This is really good. I will go ahead and collect our other achievement. Continue progressing. Oh yeah, I went back here to collect the Water Magic Knight. There it is. So very soon we're probably going to be able to get an attack type unit to level 15, seeing as the Fire Hellhound is an attack type unit. I'll actually go ahead and power him up so we can get him to level 15. I'll power him up with this stuff right here. Just enough to get him to that level 15. That will give us the challenge reward. Okay. Now we need to equip Fatal Runes and Blade Runes. The Blade Runes I don't think are going to be an issue. The Fatal Runes, on the other hand, are. So we're going to now start keeping a bunch of the runes we get. That way we can get closer to getting more summons. We just might also just keep progressing. The only reason I'm not putting the water magic net on my team right now is there's a lot of wind units in this dungeon. Um, so having all these fire units doubled up is going to be really nice. The water magic knight compared to the water fairy, pretty sure the water fairy is more tanky. Getting levels on the water fairy is always a good thing. The magic knight's going to come into play in just a second when we unlock Kairos dungeons. So once we do that, a lot of things will become a lot easier. Kairos dungeons is where you can farm stuff like runes, awakening essences. You unlock it after you beat this area that I'm in. Once we unlock Kairos dungeons, I'll be going in there, getting a bunch of different rewards. Hopefully, we might try to awaken a unit soon. Don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll have more challenges to go through once we get there as well. Challenges that will give us different units, and I can tell you which ones of those ones we're getting are good or not, stuff like that. A couple of them are actually really good. From one area you get Bernard and Shannon. Bernard used to just be like considered the best out of the two, and Shannon was just kind of like, hey, early game, sure you use it. After that, you don't really ever. People are using it again now because they used to only have dungeons go up to B10. They now have a couple of them going up to B12. And what that means for us is that they actually got a lot more difficult. With them being a lot more difficult, we have to kind of go back to our roots. And one of those roots is Bernard Shannon. But also, they have Secondary Awakening. The Secondary Awakening improved Shannon's skills, and now improved her skills and stats, and now she's a lot better. When you awaken a unit, they gain a name. So if you hear me using a name like Shannon or Bernard or anything like that, it's all based off of that name. I promise you the game does not lag this much. It's just because of me streaming it onto Air Server and then streaming Air Server onto Twitch. So, might be a couple drop frames here and there, but so far it's looking pretty good. Okay. Crit damage is actually very nice. That's a very nice rune. A very common set is attack, crit damage, attack. So the way runes work is you have 6 runes, and they each have slot numbers. So slot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So your slot 2, 4, 6 runes can all be attack percent, HP percent, speed is a slot 2 exclusive. So those can all be percentage based. So if you have high stats, percentage based runes actually are always going to be better than flat stats, which is what we call it when the rune just says, HP plus 300. There's no percentage there. It doesn't increase based off your base stats. It's just a flat increase. So a percentage-based increase in this game is always going to be better unless you have like a 1-star unit that you're building. That 1-star unit has such low base stats, maybe a flat rune is going to be better. But even then, that's a maybe. So you can see I'm not playing this game with audio. I might change that at some point. They have a chat in the game. I'm on a Korean server, so I have no idea what any of these names are, nor what they're saying, but you can see a couple of units in here. This is a new thing called artifacts. The artifacts, as you can see, the substats on the artifacts increase certain properties. So speed proportional to lost HP, additional damage, life drain, crit rate increasing effect. I don't know how well rolls. Oh wow, additional damage by 9% of attack. That's actually really good. This is a funny looking artifact. Wow. Crit damage recovery, crit damage accuracy. Okay. So the next stage should be, yeah, boss stage. So this is some pretty good timing so far in progression. Don't know whether I could have done it faster or not. I probably could have. However, we're not trying to speedrun the game. We're in no real rush here. So we'll go ahead, smack up this boss. Now this boss, it's not difficult, but there are two of them. One's a Sylphid and one's just a Sylph. I don't know if they say their names. No, it doesn't look like they do. So the one that my team was just attacking, the Sylphid, is actually a very heavy damaging unit. Or not, wow, I can't speak. Is actually a very tanky unit, and it sucks to fight because of that shield. Once you get into a later point of the game, they're harder to kill, and that shield makes them pretty good. And the other one you saw, which was the Sylph, is actually the damage unit there. He does a lot of damage based off of speed and stuff like that. Okay. So now, we just beat this area. We got some blade runes. Very nice. 3-star blade runes too. Okay. Yep, and here's where we unlock the Kairos dungeons. Kairos dungeons are very important to the game. Oh, okay, more stuff. Okay then, there we are. So there's the achievement, well, a achievement. Kairos dungeons. Okay, so it is Hall of Fire right now, but it's not going to be Hall of Fire for long. We'll go ahead and enter Giant's Keep for the first time. We're going to go ahead, put in... Giant's Keep is a water boss, and all of them are now going to be water bosses. So we're going to want to put in this type of team right here. This team, mainly wind and water units, light units, no fire units on this team. Shouldn't be terrible. Looks like we're doing pretty well. Then again, everyone does fine in B1. It's the first stage of the game, you know. Well, first stage of the dungeon, but still. After this, we'll see how well we fare going up more. But we'll probably just instead try to do a little bit of the challenges for this area. There we are. And then from the challenges, we can get different units that we can use on this team. Should make everything a little better. Oh. Okay. So now this is going to unlock the Giant's Keep Master challenge area. So we'll go ahead, go in here. So to get Shannon, we have to conquer B3 for Bernard, and to get Shannon, we have to view the strategy info. So we'll go ahead, go in here, and click strategy info. There we go. So now it tells you info on the boss, a couple of stuff like this, the little thing right there. And now we're going to continue on going through this and try to get to B3 so we can also have Bernard. I don't think I'm going to be using Bernard nor Shannon in any area except for Giants specifically. They're both really good here. And they're probably going to replace some couple people on my team. They're probably going to replace this Light Elven Ranger. He's really not that great. Light Elven Ranger is not good in general. So Shannon's probably going to replace him first. And I might replace the Water Fairy on my team. We shall see. It depends on how well we're doing. As you can see, we're already not doing that great. There we are. So we made it to the boss, at least. That's good news. That's going to be helpful. That's not helpful. and now he uses Earthquake and kills everyone. Oh, he didn't kill everybody. So there is still a chance we win here, because nope, we don't. Yep. So we're going to go ahead, collect Shannon, and go back in and try again. Shannon will actually make that much of a difference. First of all, you also get a really good rune from clearing. I say really good. It's not guaranteed to be really good. This one's actually pretty bad, and I'm going to sell it. You get a rune from clearing Giant's Keep every day, and it's a 5 or 6 star rune. So if you're early game, that could be game changing for you. Okay, so we'll go ahead, collect this, click OK on all of that, collect our Shannon. Okay. We are also going to put a couple of these runes on her. So let's go ahead and put attack percent and attack percent. Okay. That should help right here. So we'll go ahead and collect that. And now we have to power up a blade rune 3 times. So we'll go ahead and collect all these rewards. And we'll go here and we're going to power up this blade rune 3 times to +3. If there's one failure, then it doesn't matter. We're just going to go to +3. So as you can see, there's attack percent, which is going to be really very helpful. Go back in here, rune power up, and boom, we collect some of that. That one only gives us energy. The blade ones, it's very good. So now we can start powering up monsters a little bit. That gave us power material. So if there's one monster that we really like, for instance, personally, I do really like this Magical Archer. So I'm going to go here, collect everything that I've been given. I'm going to go back here to my Magical Archer and power her up with everything that was just given to me. So she's now level 24, so she'll be even better. Yep, power up a 3-star monster achievement. Okay, there we go. We're going to go ahead and go into the Hall of Fire. Actually, I believe I have to go into Hall of Magic for this. So we'll go ahead and go into the Hall of Magic. We'll put Shannon on the team. And you. Okay. So this team should work pretty well. Oh hey, we completed a default 4-star monster summon event, mission complete. You can open up the event tab when you're in a battle, which is, in my opinion, very cool. So it's because we have 350 points, we can get a lot of this stuff. We will, though, go ahead and save up because we can either get this, which is a mystical scroll. I say this because I'm pointing at it, but we can either get a mystical scroll, which is the orange looking thing, or up here on the far right, we can get ancient stones, or whatever they're called, I forget. So both of those are going to be very, very, very helpful to us. We'll see just how much we can get. Okay. So now we beat Magic B1. Very nice indeed. We cannot awaken now, so I'm going to click no to that. The reason I did that was right here. It unlocks daily dungeon tips, which is another good challenge. So again, strategy info now. This is when you can get some really good monsters. Right here, Konamiya. Very, very good. Okay? Decameron, not good. Colleen, very, very good. Taru, eh. Rakaja is eh. The only ones that really matter are Konamiya and Colleen. Both of those are must-have units. So, right now it's the Fire Dungeon, which means we can try to get enough stuff to awaken our Hellhound. He only needs 2 mids, 15 lows, and 15 magic lows. However, the fire ones are a lot harder to get, so we're going to go ahead and try for that. So we're going to go ahead and put mainly fire and water units on our team. We don't have another one, so we'll go ahead and put in a light unit. Yeah, the ancient coins are definitely worth it. Um, Mainly because Fran. New account, you gotta have Fran. So between Mystical Scrolls or Ancient Coins, we're probably going to go with the Ancient Coins, especially because one of the events is kind of very difficult in terms of getting points and stuff. It requires a lot of grinding. And the other one, which I just showed on screen, is a lot easier. You just spend energy, you get rewards. So, but also with the other one, it's a default Nat 4 summoning event, which means we can just straight up get to choose a Nat 4 basically. So from that, we don't get to really choose. We summon a couple of different ones, and then we choose from there. I'm trying to think. There's one of three units that are going to be really good for you early on. One's Lucian. He's the Wind Joker. The next one is Galleon. He's the Water Pirate Captain. And the next one is Shayna. Shayna is the Fire Chakram Dancer. And all three of those are really good. I think, personally, my personal favorite, the one I use the most often, is Shayna. I think that for the default 4-star summoning event, I'm going to be going for Shayna. So we'll see what happens. In terms of the other half of the event, where you can also summon to get Light Dark Nat 3s, that's very good as well. And I'm going to be looking through the Nat 3 list to see which of them I want to get. Once I actually get to choose a summon, I only have 5 more days on this account to do this event. So there's not a lot of time and a lot of stuff to get, so I have to act fast. That's a nice completion on Hall of Fire B2. And then once we beat B3, we have a very good healer. Konamiya will cleanse, place an attack buff, and increase your attack bar with her 2 skills, which is very good. The cleanse makes her really good for stuff like this dungeon, where the boss can place bombs on your team, so you're going to want to have someone to remove the bomb effect from your team. The increased attack power and attack bar is very good when you're not as far in the game. Use her and Lucian. She powers up Lucian, Lucian nukes everything, very good arena cleave. Looks like we actually might not complete Hall of Fire B3. So we'll see. I'll change some runes, I guess. I think I only need 500 points in that one event. We'll continue on with this. Yeah, Mystical Scroll and some Mana Stones. We'll definitely continue on over here. I guess we're going to go ahead and change out probably him, because even though there are wind monsters right now, there aren't going to be for very long. It's going to very soon turn into a lot of water monsters. We want to keep in the Hellhound, because once our Hellhound hits max level, we're going to go ahead and get evolve him to a higher star level. That's going to increase his base stats a lot, which we really need right now. It's why he keeps dying, as he has some very low base stats and he's not awoken. So we really want to try to get him awoken as soon as possible. Also, I forgot to say this earlier, welcome to the stream, Real Malaise. I have no idea. I'm gonna just stop before I mess that up even more. Okay, we're probably just going to continue through this area, collect the reward that's at the end, and then we'll go from there. Now my magical archer did just hit max level, which is really nice. That's a special growth package. It's honestly not that bad of a package, but I will not be spending money on this account. Okay, so let me see. If I were to power her up, yeah, these 3 units are not that great. Now, Raymond are specifically used for monster evolution. You can't use them in battle at all, and they usually are given to you at max level, so you evolve them, and then they're fodder our food to evolve something else. However, recently a lot of the rewards have been given to you not max level, as in instead of you having to evolve it, it's already evolved level 1 again. Um, but it just saves more materials. It's still a very good thing. We'll go ahead and keep going. Once you evolve a monster, it goes all the way back down to level 1. So evolution can kind of be funny in terms of timing. For example, my magical archer right here now is a level 1 magical archer. Not pulling her weight as much as she was before, but very soon she's going to get a lot of levels and be a lot better back again. We're going to keep the water fairy on the team for now because we want her to at least be a somewhat of a decent level once secondary awakening dungeon once I'm able to get to it. That's going to be very nice for her. I'd rather not have to level her up later on, but she is probably going to be one of the first people to leave the team. Okay. Collecting more rewards. Okay. So hopefully our Hellhound hits max level very soon. It'll be much helpful, let's just say. Once he hits max level, we can 3-star him. Hopefully we're going to awaken him pretty soon. We'll see. Attack break sucks this early on. Very crippling. Okay. Hey, we got a 2-star Harpoo. I don't think I'm going to use the water Harpoo. It does have a secondary awakening, so I might. Now, to be able to secondary awaken a unit, the unit has to be already awoken and it has to have max skills. So far, the only secondary awakenings are certain select 3-stars. So getting the max skill takes a lot of summoning, but once you do that, their stats are buffed, their skills are buffed. People are calling them Nat 4.5s because they are actually that good. And certain units have just been game-changing. One of them is the Dark Martial Cat. I am extremely considering getting her from this event we have going on right now because she matters that much. There are still a certain light dark 3-stars and stuff like that are very good. You want to get them very early on, but because none of them are really crucial, not like she is. She's game changing. If you put her on some of your best runes, she will not disappoint. One of her passives says that if she gets attacked with a critical hit, she will counterattack with her first skill. Her first skill also leeches life, so a certain amount of her damage will come back to her as health. But also, she cannot die if she's hit with a critical hit. Wind Garuda, another one that's kind of in the middle, kind of mediocre. The Wind Garuda stuns a lot. He has a bunch of skills that stun, so he puts out a bunch of stuns very rapidly, and he's pretty good at that. One of his skills is actually a guaranteed stun, or as close as you can get to a guaranteed stun. But he's still just not that good. He needs a little bit of a push over the edge to be really good. So Garudas are one that people are really hoping get secondary awoken, just because a couple of them would be really nice secondary awoken. Konomiya is one of us that would be really nice. Secondary awoken. So we'll see what happens soon after this. We should be pretty close to being able to get one of the Nat 4 summoning tickets in the event. So I'll keep my eye on the tab up top. With 5 days from this event, we're not going to be able to get Fran because the ancient coins you don't get a lot of. A couple more stages to go before we complete this area. So we'll probably be able to get all the ancient coins and all the mystical scrolls from the default 4-star summoning event. We'll probably get our choice of 4-star, and I think I'm gonna summon maybe for Shayna, Lucian, or at least Lucian and Galleon. Both of them require you to awaken them to get their full skill set. So for example, you have to awaken Lucian to get his 3rd skill. Now Lucian's 3rd skill attacks everyone on the enemy team, ignoring defense, which is extremely good. Galleon, on the other hand, unlocks his 3rd skill as well with awakening, and what that will do is then he gives a defense break, so he decreases the entire enemy's defense for 2 turns and increases your entire team's attack. So it's very nice as well. So both of them are kind of crucial. Another one that people talk about being very crucial early game is a unit called Chasun. She is the Wind Sky Dancer. She's very, very good early on as a healer. So just because of that, I might be going for wind summons. There's actually a lot of wind 4-stars in my personal opinion that are very good. However, neither the Chakram Dancer nor Boomerang Warrior of Wind is that great. The Chakram Dancer and Boomerang Warriors were units added into the game a year, maybe 2 years ago, and what they do is they team up with each other. So when one attacks, the other attacks with it, allowing both of them, since they both attack on the same turn, it does a lot more damage when you have 2 in one team. However, that means you also have to get 2 different, Nat 4s, which, for a lot of people, even when they just came out, was a lot more difficult than it should be. We'll put it that way. As you can see, there's 2 Konomiyas on the side here. They're really making this battle difficult because they are giving this boss a constant attack bar increase. However, my Wind Magical Archer is making it a lot easier for me. I'll show you what she does and why I personally believe she's not just a really good unit, but a really fun unit. Okay. So now that we beat Taihan, we're going to be able to do one more summon. We did a couple, haven't gotten lightning yet, so maybe this will be soon we'll get this Count's first lightning. We shall see. We're kind of at this point pushing towards Feynman. So, let's see. Okay. Tulane Forest is now unlocked. We'll go ahead and collect these 2 things. Summon with the Mystical Scroll. Okay, no lightning. Let's see what the Nat 3 is. Bad. Just bad. I got nothing else to say to that, but just bad. Scenarios, we'll collect the reward from here. Let's go ahead and see what the Tulane Forest is going to give us. So this is going to give us Fatal Runes. That's going to get us very, very far in certain areas. We also need to click Strategy Info right here for one of Raina's challenges. There we are. Very good. Very nice. Go ahead and collect. And I'll go ahead and summon a couple of these unknown scrolls, as we're going to need a couple of units for evolutions and power-ups and such of this Hellhound, for instance. So I'll go ahead. That should get him to max level, and then I will evolve him into a 3-star unit. So that's going to be very nice. We have a second Wind Garuda, so that's not going to be much of an issue. Neither is that Harpu that we're losing. So that's very nice. We're going to go ahead and power up her. We'll probably be 3-starring Shannon as well. So I'm just going to do a couple more of these unknown scroll summons. Oh, my game's back. It was lagging there for a little bit. Okay, that should be enough, I think. Okay, this will get her to level 17. Okay. This will go to level 18. We'll do a couple more. Get her to level 20, and then 3-star her. So these summons cannot be Nat 4s or Nat 5s. They can only be Nat 3s. Ooh, Fire Warbear is actually pretty good. Water Grim Reaper. I personally think that all the Grim Reapers are pretty good. The Water Grim Reaper is very interesting. He inflicts continuous damage on everybody and has a big freeze. With his 3rd skill, does a good bit of damage for a water unit in single target, but I just don't know if he's worth it enough. Oh, that was another. Okay, Lizardman's pretty bad, but hey, we're getting more Nat 3s, and that's always a good thing, because that's going to help us when it comes to 4-starring some of our 3-star units. That, like, Fire Grim Reaper, for instance, probably going to 4-star him. That way we'll have a 4-star Fire, 4-star Water, 4-star Wind unit. Okay. And now we'll go ahead and we'll power up our Shannon with a bunch of these 1-star units. 1-star units are great for power-ups. Okay, that gets her to max. And now we're going to evolve her. So there we go. We just 3-starred our Shannon, which is very nice. I'm going to go ahead and go and lock certain units to make sure that I can't get rid of them. So I'm going to lock you, I'm going to lock, okay, lock you, lock this unit, lock this unit, and Fire Warbear. There we are. And Fire Warbear, in my opinion, is pretty good as well. So we're going to go ahead and collect all our rewards for that. We're going to check the default 4-star monster summon event. See how many points we have, what we can do in the event. And we're probably going to try to go back into the fire dungeon again. Okay, we have 425 points, which is not bad at all. We're going to go ahead and collect ancient coins. Okay. With those ancient coins, we're going to go ahead and buy pieces of this right here. Now, it's going to be a lot harder to get Ergar. Ergar requires 100 pieces, and you get 10 of them for 50. So that's going to require a lot more ancient coins. And same thing for the Light Efreet. The Light Efreet is actually really, really good as well. He steals beneficial effects off of the enemies and places it on your whole team, which can be extremely useful in certain dungeons, such as Dragons is a very good place that people use them a lot. We're going to go ahead and try to beat this again. We'll see how well our team does. I don't know if they're going to do better or not. So actually, just because of that, I'm going to go into Telling Forest. I'm probably going to have to end the stream at about 11:30 my time, so that's in about 7 minutes. I will be uploading this stream to YouTube, and I'm going to be making a playlist called My Beginner Videos. I'm not going to really advance in them, except maybe I might like grind up runes or dungeons or stuff like that. So, for instance, wherever I'm going, I might be like riding in the car with somebody. So I'll be doing the fire dungeon and trying to awaken that fire hellhound, as that's really important. I'll probably be doing another stream of this later on today, so we can get further in the game. Once we get some good runes, it's going to be very easy to progress at a certain point. Right now, we're in this area where I'm not going to go back and try to farm bad runes. I don't believe in like, oh, let's just get some bad runes and that's good enough for now. No. If I'm going to be getting runes, I'm going to be getting good ones, and since this area is going to be giving me good runes, I'm going to go ahead and try to get some good stuff out of it. So we'll go ahead. Wind units are actually going to be really good here, so wind and fire. The boss of this area is a little bit more difficult than I'd like to admit, let's put it that way. So we'll see what happens in terms of that. So we'll go to the next stage. I'll go ahead and take her out and put in him. I don't think any of my units. Ah, there it is. There's a skill. We'll try to go back into Giants so we can get Bernard. Bernard's going to be a very good unit as well for Giants, so hopefully if we can beat Giant Slayer, beat 3, we'll get a Bernard. That will help us get way further. Maybe not in this part of the story, but at least in Giants, we'll get way further. So no surprise, our Seek died again. Since he's both low level and Inugamis are also good enemies. Like the enemies we're fighting right now, they're good enemies. So the fact that they're killing people this quickly doesn't really come as much of a surprise to me, especially because a lot of my units don't really have gear on them right now, because like I said, I'm not going to just substitute and get bad gear and say, oh, you know, it's temporary. I don't believe in that. Although that's a nice defense break. Also a nice defense break. So this is all going to come down to the Magical Archer, like that last one did. No surprise there. That's death to him. I think she can do this. Yep. There we are. Now that comes in part because she's the only unit I have with gear on her, but she's also a good unit in general. I'll show you a little bit of what she does. Magical Archer. Right here. So your crit rate is increased by 25%, and your crit damage increases accordingly to how much HP you've lost. So a 25% increase to crit rate already is very good, because her crit rate's not that great as a unit, because even though she's on Blade Runes, she doesn't have a lot of stuff. I'll go ahead and power up her runes. And I have more Blade Runes that I'll put on everybody else. So I'll spread the runes I have on a couple of people. So that helps her a little bit more. For him, we're going to go ahead and put on a rune or so. Okay. And then the Magic Knight will go ahead and put more runes on. Yep. And these are all pretty bad, except for maybe that slot 2 could be used for something. But aside from that, they're just pretty bad runes. We'll go ahead and try to beat, I guess, Hall of Fire B3, just because getting him awoken is so important right now that we need to keep trying to beat certain areas in the game. And even though it's a fire dungeon, I'm still going to bring the Magical Archer, because she's at this point going to be better than the water fairy. So hopefully, yeah, she just crit on wind, did a lot of damage. So hopefully she's not going to just get completely destroyed and die in here instantly. Okay, made it through the first little area. Yeah, now that there are crystals in here, everything becomes both easier and harder, as crystals die really easily. However, they also do a lot of damage. As you can see, my entire team is dying really easily now. Yeah, we're not even going to beat the boss, probably. But, I don't know. Water Magic Knight can deal a good bit of damage. But it doesn't help when there is a crystal that just stuns all the time. Yep. And there's the bomb. Oy. Yeah, bombs do a lot of damage. And I'm not going to say very quickly, but it does a lot of damage and does it pretty well. So we're going to go ahead, actually we're just going to go ahead and power up the runes that we have. There's not much you can do sometimes except for power up runes. So on you, we're going to power this one up to +6. We might go to +9 at some point, but at least +6 is going to be really good for now. Okay. Once I'm told everyone else is leaving, I'll end stream, and that video will be uploaded to YouTube. I do a bunch of different streams. I've been trying to upload a little bit to YouTube, but I'd rather not upload games that aren't of the best quality, as we'll call it. So, I'm going to be uploading this to YouTube, this series, which I'm going to call Beginner's Luck Series. I do a lot of Minecraft, a lot of Overwatch, and a lot of Heroes of the Storm. I've been trying to stream that a lot more recently. So if you're interested in any of those, follow me. You'll be able to be notified anytime I go live. I'm on a Minecraft server with a bunch of friends. We do something called The Purge. I lots of times live stream The Purge, which gets to be a little bit of an issue. Hasn't yet, because I'm the most powerful person on the server, so lots of people are afraid of me. So it helps when a lot of people are afraid of you that, you know, not many people are on the server during the purge. But we'll see how it goes. Hopefully I'm able to beat this area before I have to leave. That way we can at least get a lot of good Fatal Runes. Fatal Runes are a really good set in the game, and I'm probably going to put them on the Water Magic Knight because she'll help a lot on, she'll do a lot of damage on Fatal Runes. She'll be able to solo areas. She'll be the key to beating that fire area, is getting stats on her to be a lot better. So we're just going to go ahead and do this. Also, once we get the Fatal Runes, it'll be a lot easier because we'll be able to power them up, go to the beginning challenge, and get even more Fatal Runes. They're not going to be as good Fatal Runes, however, this means that we can split out it because it's a 4 set. So the 3 units that already have the Blade Runes on them, the Water Magical Archer, the Grim Reaper, or the Wind Magical Archer, the Water Magic Knight, and the Fire Grim Reaper, all have Blade Runes on them, and they're all going to also have a 4 set of Fatal Runes on them. Fatal Runes increase your attack stat by 40%, and Blade Runes increase your crit rate stat by 12%. To be able to have Fatal Runes do what they do, you need to have a 4 set, so that means you have to have 4 Fatal Runes out of your 6 runes, and for Blade you only have to have 2. So both of them are going to be on Fatal Blade. Fatal Blade's a very common rune combination, because it increases crit rate and it increases attack, and increasing both of those can be very, very beneficial, if you can guess. So hopefully very soon we're going to be able to beat this area, collect the reward for it, and all that stuff. Once we get this reward, everything's going to be a lot smoother in the game. We're probably going to beat that area of the fire dungeon before the fire dungeon leaves. This account resets at 12 noon my time. So at noon, I'm kind of racing the clock here, because at noon the fire dungeon goes away, and I need the fire dungeon both for the Konamiya, which is a very good monster, but also because I need to awaken the Fire Hellhound. He's going to become a lot more beneficial to my entire team once he's awoken. But now that I have Shannon does something very similar to him. They both increase attack power. He's a more damage dealing unit. He also increases crit rate, so it's truly a give and take type of situation. However, the dungeons where you can't really use Shannon, you can use him. So that difference is really what um, I'm kind of planning on, because I can't just have Shannon all the time. You can't always use the same unit in every single place in the game. So because of that, sometimes you have to build other units that do something very similar, but not exactly the same. So we'll see very soon, once this whole thing starts. Once we get the runes, we'll probably beat the fire area, hopefully get this Fire Hellhound awoken. If I choose not to awaken him, I might try to awaken the Fire Grim Reaper. He's going to be a lot more difficult to awaken. However, with that stat increase, it's going to be extremely good for him to get that increase in the stats. Because he has 2 area of effect attacks, so he's going to attack everybody, and he has 2 of them. So if you can increase his stats enough so that he one-shots people, that means you're clearing waves seconds. So hopefully we shall clear this area very soon. They started attacking the magical archer, which is not a good thing, but she holds her own. Ooh. Nice. Now, from this area, you can get the Wind Warbear, which is what was just attacking me. And the Wind Warbear is extremely good as a unit. This is also a hard boss, so I'm not going to be surprised if I lose right here. But we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully I don't lose. I think I'm going to actually manual this. So we're going to go ahead, kill you, use our Living Hell. This skill absorbs attack bar, so it reduces the attack bar of the enemies and increases her own. That's very helpful because you have to have 100 attack bar to move, and this will prevent certain units from getting a turn and also give her a turn faster. So it's very, very useful in that regard. These Inugamis are also really fast attacking units. They have high speeds, so because of their high speed, it allows them to move first, disrupt turn order. Many of the Inugamis, for instance, the fire one is very good. The light one and dark one are also very, very good. The light one is a unit that I might also be trying to get from the event, the Nat 4-star and Light Dark 3-star summoning event. Chomp, chomp. Well, that sucks. Reduce your attack power, that's very good. Very crucial there. Hopefully we can reduce attack bar. No, we do not. Ooh, that is not good. That is very much not good. So hopefully he can kill. He did kill. This gives him another turn when he gets a kill. I don't know why he's attacking the magical archer. He really shouldn't be. That's bad. Now he's not. Perfect, perfect, perfect. That's what I needed from him. Decreases attack power? Nope. But I might win. There we go. Perfect. So yeah, that boss is not necessarily easy, but the magical archer, as you saw, made that a lot easier. Go ahead, collect our reward. Okay. So once we get out of this dialogue, and again, if you're interested in the game, I am just going to I'm skipping over most of the story because the story is really not interesting, and it takes a lot longer. It's actually, I'm not going to say not interesting, because it isn't interesting, but it's also not crucial to the game. But, you know, if you're interested in the game, go ahead, download it. This is just a beginner's guide, as I'll call it as well, so that anyone who's interested or just starting up can kind of watch someone who's played for a little bit more doing the same thing. Some of the decisions that they make after knowing more about the game. So we're going to go ahead and collect our 10 Fairy Queen pieces and our nice set of runes that we get right here. Okay, that's very good. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and put most of those on her right here. Okay. Yeah, all the really good ones go to her. And now we're going to power up one of these to +3. And then once we do this, we then are going to have to go backwards all the way to Garen Forest, which was the first area we were in, and we're going to have to get a bunch of 3-star energy runes. We'll go ahead and continue collecting stuff. Yeah, right here. 3-star energy runes. That's going to give you a mystical scroll. So now hard difficulty has been unlocked, so we're going to instead make our way through hard difficulty to get these 3-star runes. It's progressing through the difficulty area. It also has a higher chance to give you 3-star runes. Once we get that, we're going to hopefully be able to skill up a unit. If we aren't able to, we literally have a Devilmon. Worst case scenario, we're going to throw the Devilmon onto our Nat 4, which is the Magic Knight. And then that'll give us the runes that we need to finish off everything else. So that'll be very, very good for us as well. Luckily, this area shouldn't be difficult to beat. Should be pretty easy, pretty simple, go pretty quickly. And then we're going to beat the water area once we have, or not water area, we're going to beat the fire boss now that we have better runes. See, there's one 3-star rune. I'll just click OK so we keep it. Because 3-star runes aren't terrible. The game gives you 3-star runes. So we'll go ahead, we'll keep the 3-star runes. Hopefully we'll make it through this area pretty quickly. I'll do a couple summons of unknown scrolls or whatnot. Hopefully we summon something that we can use. I believe we still have that Water Grim Reaper, so we can put the Water Grim Reaper into the fire one. That's going to be very useful. If we kept, I don't think we have another another magical archer. If we did, I'd use that instead. Skill up the magical archer, because the magical archer is really good. And there's another 3-star rune. This is a defense percent rune. It's actually pretty good. So I will go ahead. That gives us a mystical scroll as well. So that's very nice. Now we have to skill up a unit. So we're going to go ahead and summon the mystical scroll first, and then look at skilling up units and who we have to skill up, basically. So we're going to go ahead, do the summon. Lightning. First lightning on the account. What will it be? And that's actually really good. The Water Sniper. Now, the Water Sniper's 3rd skill will ignore the target's defense. And him being a Nat 4, this skill has insane multipliers. He snipes units out of combat instantly, just kills them. This is also extremely good for the light boss. The light boss has really high defense, and that's its gimmick, as we'll call it. So because that's its gimmick, sniping down that high defense is really good. We'll go ahead and do this. We don't want to really waste anything. This should skill up the Sandman. There we are. Sandman is now skilled up. So we can go ahead and collect those rewards. At this point, 3-star Fatal, 3-star Blade runes, and then runes +9. All that's going to be really pretty simple, pretty easy. We'll go ahead and collect that, however. Get the runes, put them on our units. So for instance, on this unit, we know that he needs to have this rune. This rune. We'll go ahead and put the 3-star ones on him. We want to save the better ones for our magical archer. And for our magical archer, we'll go ahead and put on these. Now, the Nat 4 we just got, the sniper, he's not good in the story, so we're not going to really equip him with runes yet. However, he's going to be much better later on. He's really good in PvP, but he's not that great in PvE. Player versus player, and there's player versus entity. So PvP is stuff like Arena, and PvE is stuff like the dungeons, like, you know, this dungeon, which we will now try yet again. Because he's a water unit, he might fare better. We'll try him in instead of the Elven Ranger. The Elven Ranger's really not good at all. Those runes make such a difference, though. As you can see, they just wiped that area. Crystals go, we don't care. Deadly Swing happens, Magic Shot. So now we're going to have a lot more units that are going to be going into this final battle, which should make it a lot easier, too. Magic Shot, you see, now that we have these units, these runes, look at all that damage. And the boss is dead. So very nice, very easy once we have a lot more runes, a lot more gear. This will now give us Konomiya. More Essence of Fire Low, which is also very nice. I'm going to go ahead, power up all the gear that we have, and I'll be running a lot more of that fire dungeon, and hopefully I'll get to awaken Seek. That'll make Seek a lot better. Boom, Konomiya. Okay. So yeah, if I awaken Seek, that'll make him a lot better, a lot more usable. So I'll just be powering up gear, going into more dungeons, and then when I get back on Twitch, streaming again later tonight, I'm going to go ahead and show everything that I've done since then, and then we'll progress more with this story, and hopefully we'll be able to beat Faven Volcano. Anyways, that's it.